Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan Nair. Basically, today we are going to discuss about the 97th number part, that is of the formula. And here, basically, we are discussing the question and answers of the few question basically we have taken long before. And this is basically the seventh number question ongoing. How basically power company is tracking each and every software company's information without knowing any, without any contacting the software company, without any accessing the software company's resources, without accessing any software company's tools, without knowing basically the any, without accessing the any of the information from the software company from the other parts of the other parts of the resources basically where basically the companies are connected. So power company is telling that we are knowing each and everything, whatever things is happening in the software company, that we are knowing basically. For example, few one phase there was 5 to 6, 7 phase basically of the project basically. Or basically we can take this is a banking project. So they are told that they are divided in the project into 7 phases basically. So now basically the power company, sorry, the software company has started the project basically. Creation project started. Phase one has reached up to the half level. So this half level project has completed of the phase one basically. This information power company is already having basically. How basically each and every basically you can say the, for example, that the project is on .NET. So whatever if condition, for example, there is one form. In that form, basically they have added around more than 200 if condition. So I think this if condition, the developer which have added, they also might not be knowing that they have added 200 condition in one form. Basically, just see the tracking level, how up to the deep level the power company is tracking. So the developer don't know that he will be counting, then basically that time basically he will be knowing. But without counting basically, can developer say that this many if condition if he is a number one developer, then also he can't say basically that around 200 to 300 if condition has added, and from around 50 to 60, 70, 60 to 70 for loop has added, more than 40 while loop has added. So basically he can't say. Basically we have to calculate each and every for loop while loop if condition, then only the developer, if he's a number one developer, then also he have to calculate the thing. Otherwise he have to write somewhere basically that I have taken this if condition, I have taken that and if condition like this. The counting has to do. He can't remember the if conditions. But the power company is telling that without any tool, without the developer help, basically we know how many if conditions are there in one form basically. The power company knows this also, that there are how many forms basically created for the phase one basically. So just see the tracking level basically, up to the level tracking is happening basically. And tracking basically happening is reason is behind this is that is basically, you can say it's a human need creation basically. Whenever the human needs is going to create, that time basically it's easy to track each and everything basically, because they are tracking from scratch basically of the project basically. So it's day night tracking, it's not possible for the power companies also. If they are tracking up to the from scratch basically, then only the things can be tracked. So day night tracking, if anybody says that this project is had to track from this side, most of basically 90 percentage has project is over, that tracking basically is not possible, because whatever things basically you write in the computer, that is 100% tracked by the power companies basically. One more example of the tracking I can give you. For example, we have one laptop in our we have purchased one software project manager or director have purchased one laptop, any company basically you can say. So he created around 2000 files, and from 2000 files 20 files are of notepad, and rest of basically are of excel, powerpoint, and then basically word file. Like this basically few documents are there. So like this basically the around 2500 to 3000 files exist in his laptop basically. So 2000 to 3000 file he has created from his laptop. That tracking basically one server basically is tracking it. That is basically we can give one name, that is basically global server, which is tracking information of each and every laptop in this world. Just see the tracking information basically, I'm telling. For example, there are 1 crore laptops in this world. So 1 crore laptops are tracked. Each and every files are counted. Each and every files which you are writing in the files, that are basically tracked. What you have written in that file, that each and everything are getting tracked. But that takes time basically. But one day that laptop files, each and everything are going to track, going to be checked, what you have written in this laptop, how basically you have written, which type of up to the level basically information you have of the each and every topic. Like this, each and every things are getting tracked. But one day basically each and every files are going to be checked. That is 100% sure. So 1 crore laptop, for example, 1 crore laptop exists in this world. So 1 crore laptops data are going to be stored in, is basically stored in one of the server of the any kind of computer server basically, you can say. There basically each and every laptops data are getting stored, and that are basically checked one day. That is going to be checked one day. For that also basically that lots of systems are created, lots of utilities are created by the set of software companies basically, who keeps the track of each and every information of the laptops basically. You can just imagine basically each and every tracking information which is happening basically. So like this, because one project manager has spent more than 20 years in the software industry, so up to what level his brain has created, up to what level his blood cells has created, up to what level he has got the knowledge, and what basically up to the level he got the information of the software, what actually the software is. And basically the things basically just now I told that text box equal to 2000 cities, that basically he can able to track or not. While loop basically, for loop is the if conditions are there, that are creation, that are create, that are basically the base of that is basically 3000 to 4000 cities. Just basically these all things basically was tracked by that project manager or not, was tracked by the director or not, was tracked by the CEO or vice president or not. So the CEO and vice president know this, that if condition and the while loops basically are created on the base of 3000 cities. Text box is created on the base of 3000 to 4000 cities. So this all information CEO and vice president of the software companies can able to track that information or not. So just to track this all information basically, the server basically who is handling each and every laptops, who basically contains each and every laptop's information, that basically is tracked by the that server basically. So basically each and every information are tracked, and each and every files are going to be tracked of the laptops basically. But that takes time, because 1 crore laptops basically, you can just imagine basically 1 crore laptop basically, you can say one laptop contains around at least minimum basically 10,000 to 30,000 files basically. 30,000 basically minimum I'm telling. So 30,000 files of one laptop. So you basically, you can just imagine the 1 crore laptops basically. So it's more than crore basically, more than 100 crore. So like this basically 100 crore files to check basically each and everything what is written basically. If in one file basically more than 1 lakh pages exist, then basically you can just imagine the checking creation basically. And then basically that also basically each and every link you have to check, each and every chain you have to check basically. For example, there are 10 to 15 files, and it might possible that each and every files are connected with each other. So that also up to that level basically they have to check basically, and they are checking up to that level also basically. How many files are interacted with each other, how many files are chained with each other. So you can just imagine the tracking level. Here basically we are talking about the power companies, how basically they are tracking it, how basically the easy information basically, how basically the tough information they are tracking in easy way. That is basically the one of the easiest way they have found, that is basically if condition basically. If they want to track in how many form in one form basically, if there are those more than 5,000 to 10,000 if condition, then basically how they will be going to track. That is basically that physical location. That is basically 3,000 cities. From that, basically, they can able to track. So even basically the developer will miss one of the conditions basically to count basically, but the power companies will never going to miss the each and every condition which is written in the one form basically. That's it. So just imagine basically the tracking information how the software companies are tracking each and everything, each and every ways, each and every conditions, each and every forms, each and every faces basically created, each and every modules, each and everything is basically created by the software company. So like this, basically we are stopping here. This is basically 97th number and 98th number. We are going to see a little bit more about the formula of what.